Radhe Radhe everybody. Today for our reading from the central theme of Bhagavatam, we have got the first canto with us because I find it extremely hard to read the slokas from this because they've not been split in a friendly, chant-friendly way. So this is the chapter that we are going to read, Steps in Spiritual Growth. Before that, I'm going to get to the first canto, second chapter, 17th verse, so that we are ready to read chapter 2, 17th verse. I may want to mark this down because when I was reading the Bhagavatam, I'm on the third canto in my current study. I did mark off some of the very important verses, but they don't include the ones given in central theme of Bhagavatam, so I might want to do that right now. So let me pick up some page tabs too while I'm at it. 17th. Okay, 17th verse. Now, let me put some. Okay. We have some tabs ready. Okay, now let's start. Steps in spiritual growth. In the second chapter of the first skanda, the Bhagavatam delineates the various steps in spiritual growth in the following verses. Now we are going to read the verse. Shunvatam svakatha Krishna punya shravana kirtanaha hridyantastho bhadrani vidhunoti suhrit satam. Krishna, the friend of devotees, Suhrit is friend of devotees, purifies the hearts of those who take his name. He manifests in the heart of those who hear the accounts of his deeds and erases all the evil tendencies blocking their spiritual development. Shrunvatam is those who have developed the urge to hear the message of Swakataha, his own words. Krishna, you know who Krishna is, Lord. Punya, virtues. Shravana, hearing. Kirtanaha, chanting. Hridi antastha, within one's heart. He, certainly. Abhadrani, desire to enjoy matter. Vidhunoti, cleanses. Suhrit, benefactor or friend. Satam, of the truthful. The next one is the 18th verse. नष्टप्रायेष्व भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. This says, when the obstructing evil tendencies are mitigated through constant application to the service of holy men and the study of holy scriptures, one develops a steady and unshakable love for the Lord of abounding glory and grace. And here we have, by regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service to the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. So, steps in spiritual growth seems to do a lot with cleansing of your heart or cleansing of your chitta, or chitta shuddhi. Why that is? Because we always begin where we are. We are not going to wait for something to happen and then start our spiritual practices. We have to begin where we are. Because of the complete, coming and going, we have acquired so much of conditioning throughout lifetimes that it has made our it is made our chitta so clouded. So it's almost as if the glass is fully like clouded and stained, and it's not showing the light. So we are going to first clean the glass so that light can shine through, and that's exactly what this is. That is Shravana and Kirtana, hearing and praising his name, and him taking his name, and hearing about his leelas, and reading and hearing Bhagavatam will first create that conducive internal climate for spiritual growth to take place. That's what they're getting at. And the 19th verse is Tada Rajastamo Bhava Kamalobhadayascha ye Cheta etair anavidham Sthitam Sattve Prasidati. Now, Lord has declared in Gita too that we are all made up of the play of three gunas. It's just a combination game. Somebody has more of rajas, somebody has more of sattva, somebody has more of tamas. Because of these three gunas, we're almost it's very hard for us to get to pure sattva where we can realize Lord. And that's what we should know before getting into the meaning of this. With the growth of devotion, the mind is freed from the agitations of instinctive passions like greed and sexuality, the products of rajas and tamas, and gets established in peace and poise of sattva. So more sattva is created this way. That is, while we do these spiritual practices, especially Shravanam and Kirtanam and Shastra Swadhyaya, reading the Bhagavatam, what happens is more of sattva is produced, and sattva is conducive for spiritual development. As soon as irrevocable loving service is established in the heart, the effects of nature's mode of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire, and hankering, disappear from the heart. Then the devotee is established in goodness, and he becomes completely happy. So what is meant by that is completely happy does not mean the external circumstances have somehow changed, and somebody who's very poor has suddenly become rich, or somebody who's sick has become healthy. None of that happens. Sattva is where the nature of goodness is what sattva is, which is to be content, which is to be blissful inside. That thing appears when you continue to do these spiritual practices, steps in spiritual growth, as it is said here. Then in the 20th verse, they say, Evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogatah bhagavad tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate. In the aspirant who has, through the practice of devotion, attained to purity and poise of mind, as also to freedom from every form of worldly attachments, is generated the realization of Supreme Being as an absolute reality. Once this purity of mind is achieved, mind is calmer, right? It is achieved faster with devotion. That's why this was written. And if you had gone to the previous the chapters, or have listened to Bhagavata Saptaha, the first part of it is where Narada comes to Vyasa, and Vyasa is very sad, and he feels like he hasn't done much for the humankind. And then upon Narada's instruction, because of Kali and the way life is going to be for humans, it's going to be extremely difficult to practice anything or cleanse our chitta and even think of God. That being the case, the easiest way and very conducive to the current lifestyle would be devotion, just Nama Japa, Kirtana and Smarana, and Shastra Swadhyaya. Shastra, not the Vedas. It's not possible. These are the Shastras that are easily attainable, readable, and these don't have many restrictions. Developing devotion is the quickest way, and that's exactly what is said here. Once that is developed, the purity of mind is developed, you are free from all worldly attachment, and realization of Supreme Being happens as a consequence. Now the 21st verse. भिद्यते हृदयग्रन्थिश्चिद्यन्ते सर्वसंशयः क्षीयन्ते चास्य कर्माणि दृष्ट एवात्मनीश्वरे. Manishware, okay. When the Supreme Soul is thus realized within oneself, the knots of the heart that make one feel oneself as an ego one with the body, are severe. The doubts of the mind are dispelled, and all the accumulated karmas of the past, as also those in the offing, are liquidated. This is a super good promise, absolutely worth working toward. Now, because of all the past karmas and the current karmas, as I told you, we have all these samskaras that we have developed, or the conditioning. So, as an effect of those conditioning, we have a wrong identity. We have identified ourselves as the body and mind. Once devotion is developed, and what's said here as steps to spiritual practice is practice. That is Shravana, Kirtana, we do Manana, Shastra Swadhyaya. These things, when they are done consistently with an intent to cleanse your chitta and walk towards self-realization, what happens is, it happens very soon, very, very, very fast. And here, what happens is, Kshiyante Chasya Karmani, all your karmas are completely destroyed. And thus the knot in the heart is pierced. The knot in the heart is the mistaken identity. We have identified ourselves as the body and mind. That mistaken identity is gone. And this exactly is what, jnana, path of jnana does, Atma Vichara does. That is to ask who actually you are. And that's exactly achieved with this too, and pretty easily. So, the words of these particular verses cannot be ignored. These promise us a lot more than we have ever seen. These are very important verses, so I put tabs on them so I can get back to them. So that would be our chapter here, steps in spiritual growth. Next one is Kapila's instruction, which we will read when we get time. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope you're all reading the Gita. If someone is interested in reading Bhagavatam, please go for it. You can buy one canto at a time, or buy the entire set like me. Just take a canto. You don't have to go into the purports if you're not somebody that would be happy with long purports. This is good enough. I cannot recommend this enough, because one, the verses have been split correctly for effective chanting. Each word's meaning is here, and the translation of just that verse is not misinterpreted or anything. I find many comments that say that, but not many of these verses are just intact. Whatever it says is whatever it says. In purport, you may have other things, but this is a good investment to make. Srila Prabhupada's Srimad Bhagavatam. If you're inspired to get Bhagavatam, at least the first canto, and see what Bhagavatam is all about after reading this, please go for it. Gita and Bhagavatam are to be read in this Kali Yuga. These are all quicker ways to self-realization. I hope you like this video. I'll meet you soon with another one. Radhe Radhe.